Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Wednesday, November 15th. I just finished up trading for the morning and I locked in $767 in profits. In this video, we're going to talk about my two trades from today. I'm going to go over my entry points as well as my exit points, and I'm going to talk about my overall thought process behind these trades so that hopefully you can take something from my trading and apply it to your own. If you want to hear about these stocks that I'm trading in real time, there's going to be a link down below in the description for you to come join us in the Market Master group. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the first trade. This was with the stock KNTE. And if we take a quick look at the Market Master group, we had some stocks, of course, that were gapping up this morning in pre-market. SPRC was up 74%, CMMV was up 48%, KNTE was up 47%, MGOL up 36%. Heading into the open, so all of those were contenders for a potential gap and go this morning. And what I like to do when I'm looking for a gap and go is to look for then an opening range breakout on those stocks, because that tells me that buyers are still in control once the market opens, and a lot of times we'll get a solid run from that breakout level. So if we take a look here, we have our opening range breakout levels for some of these stocks that were gapping up in pre-market. KNTE at an opening range breakout level of $2.29. Now another one that I want to mention very quickly, even though I didn't trade it, is CMMB. This had a breakout level of $1.08, and we could see a few minutes after the market opened at 9:38 this morning, KNTE and CMMB were both up and testing their opening range breakout levels. So I want to kind of explain the thought process behind why I decided to trade KNTE and why I ended up avoiding trading CMMB, which probably would have ended up being a losing trade. So we can see here, if we draw first and foremost the opening range breakout level for KNTE, it's going to be $2.29. So that's going to be our opening range breakout level. And if we then take a quick look over at CMMB, the breakout level here was $1.08. So we can see, obviously, this never was able to push above that opening range breakout level, despite there being multiple attempts to, break above it, and it retested on several different occasions. So very simply put, that's why I avoided this stock, and that's why I never got into it, because if I'm trading a breakout, I like to actually wait for that breakout to happen. I'll either buy into that immediate breakout and I'll look for a quick scalp to the upside while that momentum is still there and while that momentum is strong, or I'll let it break out and then see if that breakout level is then able to turn into an area of support, and then I'll look to buy into that support area for another push to new highs. With CMMB, we can see, of course, it never was able to break out above that level, so in my opinion, there was no reason to be buying this stock other than maybe looking for a dip buy here in this intraday support. So even though this was a contender for that opening range breakout, it did not push above the level, so that is why I ended up avoiding this trade. With KNTE, we can see that pretty much right away, it does start to push above that opening range breakout level. I took a starter position right away as it was pushing above. We can see it then kind of just chops around here, forms a little bit of a temporary base above that breakout level before pulling back and consolidating around the VWAP. So once it was able to start curling back up here, that to me was a sign of strength, and I decided to add a little bit more into my position at that time. So I ended up with a total of 3,000 shares on this trade, and my average cost was right at about $3.34, I believe. And this ended up being a really solid winner for me. It started to pick up some momentum above that breakout level, and when I decided to lock in profits is going to be up here in the 250s. The reason for that is, we zoom in here, I want to just break down exactly what my thought process was, because a lot of times knowing when to sell a stock is even more difficult than knowing when to buy a stock, because we of course want to make the most out of our winning trades, but we also don't want to be greedy and watch that winning trade turn back into a losing trade. So for me, what I was looking at was the tape, which is the level 2 in the time and sales. That is a very important indicator for anyone that is serious about day trading. I have an introductory video about tape reading here on my channel, and then I also have a more in-depth course about it that is included in the Master the Market bundle, which is going to be linked down below in the description. But with all of that being said, what I was seeing here is that we can see on these candlesticks, there are 3 candlesticks kind of back to back to back that are all peaking right at $2.65. So while I was watching the tape at the time, I was noticing that there was a lot of selling going on right in that 265 area, which of course is why the stock was not able to break above it for those 3 or 4 candles. We then get this quick breakout up to $2.67, 2 cents above that area that was starting to turn into resistance, and then it gets rejected straight back down. That false breakout that I saw there was a red flag, and that was a really good indicator that we were going to pull back at least to the VWAP, if not start selling back off to the downside. So I locked in my profits in the high 250s, and I ended up with $688 in profits on that trade. That made up most of my profits for the day, but the other trade for me today was with the stock THRX. THRX was a stock that gapped up yesterday morning and then consolidated and traded sideways pretty much the entire day. So because of that, it was in the Market Master Group's trade plans for a potential continuation, because it was a sign of relative strength that this was able to hold on to those gains so well instead of selling off and giving back those gains. So the trade plans here were that there were most likely a lot of short sellers that were going to be trapped in that 315 to 320 area, just because that was the level that held pretty much throughout the entire day yesterday. So I figured if we were able to get a small gap up again today on Wednesday morning, that would be a great setup to buy into, especially if that 315 area would continue to hold as support. So if we take a look here at the market open, we get a pullback right down to about 320, bounces off of it nicely, and it has a ramp up to 350. So I saw that this was bouncing off of that 320 level. I took a starter position of just 1,000 shares at an average price of $325. And I will say there was an opportunity for me to lock in a few $100s in profits on this trade, but it definitely didn't play out the way that I would have liked it to. So I didn't really capitalize on this the best that I could have. And I started to sell and lock in my small profits on this trade once it was pulling back to VWAP here, since the volume just wasn't quite there for this trade. And we also saw that it had a quick false breakout above yesterday's high of day, which was 340. I wanted to see that 340 area start to turn into a little bit of support. So once it failed to do that, and once it started to sell back off to the downside with volume coming back down as well, that was why I kind of decided to sell the stock, and I ended up with only $78 in profits on that trade, which did bring my overall profits for the day up to $767. So those were my only 2 trades for today. I hope you found some value in me recapping these trades. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. I've been trying to trade less and less and focus on the best trade opportunities every day, just because of the current market conditions. But with that being said, I'm also trying to upload these videos every single day when I do have trades. So be on the lookout for them. And of course, like I already mentioned, if you want to hear about these stocks that I'm trading in real time, and you want to work with our team of traders, get access to our day trade and swing trade alerts, our detailed trade plans, our live custom scanner streams, and so on and so forth, all of that can be found in the Market Master group. There's going to be a link down below in the description for you to get signed up. Anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.